You know that feeling when you walk into a house and immediately your shoulders just drop and you let out this huge sigh of relief? Well, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into a truly fascinating corner of Vedic astrology. We're going to completely peel back the layers of what it actually means to find your inner sanctuary when the moon is sitting right there in the fourth house of your chart. If you've ever felt that your home is way more than just a physical address, but rather this deep emotional anchor, then this is going to be an incredibly insightful journey for you.
We have to kick things off with a deeply personal question. Where does my heart finally feel at home? Because look, for a person with this specific astrological placement, a physical house with four walls, a solid roof, and some beautiful furniture, that is simply never enough. In Vedic astrology, the moon in the fourth house asks this exact question of the soul. For these folks, and by the way, this often strongly resonates with women who have this placement, home is a purely emotional space. It's the place where the heart actively seeks protection, total belonging, and a really quiet, profound happiness.
All right, let's jump right into section 1, where the heart belongs.
So, for anyone new to this, the fourth house represents our ultimate emotional foundation. Think of it as this intensely private world that exists miles away from our public achievements or our careers. It's the sanctuary where your mind goes to rest when all that exhausting external striving is finally put away for the day. Now, when the moon, which naturally rules over our emotions, our deep need for comfort, and our psychological well-being, is placed in this specific house of inner peace, its power is completely magnified. It's literally like putting the planet of emotion right into the main control room of your emotional security. Moving right along to section 2, memories and emotional landscapes.
You see, the moon is the ultimate keeper of memories. It holds on to experiences long after they've passed in the physical world. And when it's sitting in the fourth house, these memories become permanently woven into a person's core sense of safety. The childhood experiences, the family dynamics, the literal atmosphere of the home they grew up in, these things powerfully shape their emotional behavior today. An individual with this placement carries their early family environment around inside them, even decades after they've moved out and built a totally separate life. For them, a home is never just a structure. It's a direct, living, breathing reflection of their inner emotional landscape.
Which brings us to section 3, the foundation of love.
This right here is an absolutely vital takeaway. For someone with the moon in the fourth house, relationship psychology dictates that emotional safety is the absolute prerequisite for love. A romantic relationship could be packed with intense physical attraction, endless affection, and amazing companionship, but if the home environment feels like walking on eggshells, their heart fundamentally cannot relax. The emotional environment is absolutely everything to them.
So instead of asking the typical relationship question like, does my partner love me, a person with this placement is quietly asking a much more profound question. Can I actually be myself here? True acceptance in their personal space is what they are really craving. That ability to feel entirely emotionally at ease isn't just some nice bonus in a relationship, it becomes the strongest, most non-negotiable foundation of love.
Now, because of this deep craving for a peaceful environment, this placement usually creates incredibly nurturing individuals. They just naturally create emotional comfort for others. They remember the small details. They sense unspoken feelings. It's amazing. But there is a flip side. This extreme sensitivity means that domestic tension impacts them so much harder than anyone might expect. They can't just compartmentalize it. They act like a human emotional sponge, just absorbing the ambient stress of the household. If there is conflict, it doesn't just bounce off them, it penetrates incredibly deeply into their emotional core.
Let's look at how this changes slightly in section 4, zodiac signs and comfort.
Every moon seeks peace, for sure, but the actual blueprint for that peace changes depending on the zodiac sign. Let's take a Taurus moon, for example. They might need the perfect velvet couch, tangible beauty all around them, and a highly stable routine to actually relax. But then look at an Aquarius moon. They might feel completely trapped by that. They need unconventional freedom, plenty of emotional space, and a home that truly champions individuality. Meanwhile, a Cancer moon thrives on those thick family bonds and emotional closeness, while a Virgo moon finds absolute security through immaculate organization and practical, helpful care. The underlying need for sanctuary is exactly the same, but the architecture of that sanctuary, wildly different.
Actually, beyond just the sign, we really have to look at the overall condition of the moon itself in the chart. A strong moon, that blesses a person with incredible emotional resilience, genuine warmth, and the empathy required to build a deeply supportive home for themselves and everyone around them. But a challenged moon can manifest as extreme emotional sensitivity. It might cause unpredictable mood fluctuations, a really unhealthy attachment to the past, or a genuine struggle to separate their own personal emotions from the heavy family patterns they inherited.
Okay, on to Section 5, Influences of Other Planets. You have to remember, the moon isn't acting alone in there. The other planetary influences dramatically shape the domestic experience. It's honestly like bringing different personalities under one roof as roommates. Jupiter and Venus, they're your absolute dream housemates, bringing generosity, harmony, and fresh flowers into the home. Mercury is great. It fosters emotional communication. Saturn, on the other hand, is kind of like the strict landlord demanding heavy emotional responsibilities or creating a feeling of distance. Mars might be the loud roommate causing passionate but restless arguments. And what about the lunar nodes? Well, Rahu creates this constant, restless search for a place to truly belong, while Ketu might cause a complete emotional detachment from traditional ideas of what a home even is.
Finally, Section 6, Finding True Inner Peace. From a Vedic astrology perspective, the greatest lesson for this placement all boils down to this. Peace simply cannot depend entirely on your external surroundings. A beautiful, massive physical house cannot replace emotional warmth. A picture-perfect family image for the neighbors cannot replace genuine understanding. If the external environment looks absolutely perfect on paper, but the freedom to express your authentic self is missing, that person is still going to feel completely homeless in their own heart.
Real lasting inner stability has to slowly develop from within. In astrology, the complete horoscope, including those deeper divisional charts like the Navamsa D9 that act kind of like a microscopic view of the soul's progression, will show how this emotional belonging actually develops over a lifetime. Sometimes, this profound peace only shows up after overcoming some deep emotional wounds or finally breaking old family patterns. But the ultimate realization is always exactly the same. The outer home becomes peaceful only when the inner home becomes peaceful. The deepest comfort arrives when the heart no longer feels the need to protect itself, when silence itself feels deeply, truly peaceful.
So, the true promise of the fourth house moon isn't just about finding a physical place to live. It is about reaching that profound, transcendent state where the soul finally feels it has returned to itself. I want to leave you with one final lingering thought to reflect upon in your own life today. Ask yourself, does your heart feel truly safe where you belong? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope this deep dive has brought a little more understanding into your very own emotional sanctuary.